Hi, welcome to Monday Minutes. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jessie, and this week we are swinging it back to basics again to talk about Koha's self-checkout feature. Nick, over the past couple of months, we've had a lot of people either submit tickets, we've seen them at conferences, and they've asked, can we use Koha's self-check feature? And guess what? It's free.
Yeah,
So we're going to start by talking about all of the options that you have within your Koha system if you want to enable the self-checkout module. So the first thing we'll do, Nick, is we'll run over to system preferences and let's walk through all of those self-check modules options.
okay. So you've got auto self-check allowed. This is basically if you want, as soon as you hit that URL, for the SEO user to be logged in so that it's ready for patrons to come. If you don't have this enabled, that means that staff need to log into the self-checkout every morning with the account they want to use. Um, This makes it a little bit easier. If you have multiple libraries, it's worth noting that Bywater can help you set up URLs to use auto self-check at each branch. That way, each branch can have their own self-check user, which will help you keep statistics. So you'll know which self-check at which branch was used by that user.
Awesome. If you want to make some customizations, you have the ability to use self-checkout, CSS, and jQuery to customize what those pages look like. And Lucas, who many of you have probably worked with at some point, has shared two examples that we're going to show you that have some of these customizations set up.
Mhm. Self-check allowed by IP ranges. This is good if you want to have auto self-check enabled, but you don't want patrons to sign into the self-check at their home necessarily. I don't know why they would, but this way you can limit it to where that self-check can be signed into.
Awesome. The next one is self-checkout by login. And so when we show you our example next, you'll notice there's two ways that you can do it. You could have them either scan a card or a card number directly in, or they could type in their username and password or PIN. So that is your option when you're setting this up.
Self-checkout receipt prompt. This is whether you have a receipt printer hooked up to the self-check or not. If not, you probably don't want to show them the prompt to print a receipt, but if they do, you probably do.
The next option you have is your self-checkout timeout. And this is where it'll automatically log the system out after a set period of time. We have our set to 120 seconds or 2 minutes.
And this is just in case the user forgets to sign out before they walk away.
Yep.
Um, you can actually configure, I don't think it's in this list here, but you can determine whether or not the previous checkouts are shown on that page or not.
Mhm.
But if you have the list of things they've checked out shown, you probably want to have a timeout so that if they walk away, no one else can come and see what you have checked out.
Yeah, great one, Nick. The next one we have is show patron image in the web-based self-checkout. So if you're using that feature where you have images attached to the patron record, you can have that pop up as well.
Yeah, and we see that a lot in schools. They're the ones who use that feature heavily.
Yeah, definitely. And then Nick, our last one here, this is what starts all the magic. So web-based self-check, when this is set to enable, that allows you to use this URL that you'll append to the OPAC to set everything up. Okay, so now we'll talk about the option to create a self-checkout user. As Nick mentioned, this is what you can set up so it automatically will log in for the user in the morning. You can, if you have multi-branches, set up each user for a particular branch
Mhm.
to
And
get.
there's just a little bit of magic we do on the back end to tell Apache that depending on the URL you're using, to use a different self-check user. Um, One thing it's worth noting is that the self-check user should only have self-check permissions. They should not have permissions to do other things in Koha. And you should not try to give regular staff self-check permissions because once you have self-check permissions, you're not allowed to use any other part of the catalog. So if you were to grant this to one of your staff, every time they got logged in, it would say, "You're the self-check user. You can't use Koha."
Good tip, Nick. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is in your tools. So if you want to do some HTML customizations, this allows you to set up a few things within the system. So the first would be the ability to customize the self-checkout main user block. So if you want to put something specific in there, logo, branding, whatever it may be, this gives you the option to essentially customize it. And Nick, what's that second one?
That is the self-check help message, which is just a display that you can add to show people how to log in or when they need to talk to a librarian, kind of things like that. This is a lot of features for a free part of Koha.
Seriously, and we're not done yet. We're going to show one more. And that's the ability to customize alerts. So if we go down to additional parameters in administration and jump right into those audio alerts, these audio alerts actually allow you to do warnings and success when they're using the self-check system.
Yeah. And it does, you can use other triggers other than that. These are the two built-in ones, but you can get as fancy with this as you want to. Some people like to put little Easter eggs in there for certain staff patrons or do things like that. Uh,
Awesome. All right, so now that we have the system set up, let's take a look at what this feature looks like. So Nick, here we can see this is just our Bywater sandbox. We have our setup that all they have to do is enter in that card number, and
Great
then that will
memory.
take it in. We have our image turned on, so you can see that little image in the upper left-hand corner. And then down below, we'll see anything that's checked out. You'll notice there's a tab for holds, which does tell me if an item is waiting. And then if I did have any fines or fees, we'd be able to see those as well. Now, Nick, talk to us about the options here for scanning a barcode. Do you know, like, what have libraries done to make it easy, like maybe set up a scanner or?
I think a lot of libraries have a scanner attached to the computer that just sits there. If they have one that can be configured to be on all the time, then the patrons just come up and scan the books right away. Sometimes you get to pick it up and you have to beep it like you do at the store. Kids love to do that, by the way. I love seeing them in the libraries when they get to do that. It's one of their favorite parts.
Yes, we always, if we have the option to do self-check, Francis is doing self-check. All right, Nick, let's check something out. So I'm going to grab a barcode real quick. We'll type it in. So you'll see it shows it right down below. We get a new little message that tells us it's new. And then you'll notice here, we also have that ability to renew items if it does hit the parameters for renewals.
Yeah. And just to say, Jay-Z, if you note right under the checkouts tab at the top, it says checked out and it has the title. If you've turned off the ability to show checkouts, it won't show you that table below, but you'll still get that list up top so you can see the last thing you've checked out.
Oh, awesome. I noticed we also get a little notification up top that tells us that we've successfully checked it out. From here, of course, we could continue to scan more barcodes, or if we're done, once we hit that finish, we do have the ability to either print it and end the session or just end the session itself.
And
And
now it's ready for the next patron.
yeah. Here are those two examples that Lucas shared with us. So this is Cherry Hill Public Library in New Jersey. I love the simplicity. It's beautiful. It's their the front of the library there, and then the barcode scanner. And then these are our partners in Ohio, Cuyahoga County Public Library, and their self-checkout screen. So
It's a great place to bring all your customizations together and let you see what's possible within Koha without having to pay anything extra. You get this for free.
yeah, awesome. Well, Nick, just another great feature that you can turn on if you want and use with Koha.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See you next week. Bye.